Hey, what's up? We're going to do some practice problems converting radians to degrees and degrees to radians. So let's get started. So this first question is asking us to convert the degree measure to radians. Okay. As we went over in the lesson portion, degrees and radians are just a unit difference, just like the US dollar is to the peso. They both represent a amount that's revolved around a circle. It's just represented in two different units. So in order to do unit conversion, you first take the number that you have, and then you have to multiply it by something that represents 1. The same thing on top has to be the same thing on bottom. 60 seconds, 1 minute. 60 minutes, 1 hour. See, those represent the same thing, so you're not actually changing the value. So the thing that represents an equal unit 1 in terms of degrees is pi radians over 180 degrees. Notice we put the degree on the bottom so that the degree units cancel out. And the units that you're left with is radians. Okay? At this point, we just need to simplify 40 over 80. So we can take out, divide by the tens, and then say take out 2. So that's 2 over 9. And that will leave us with 2 pi over 9 radians. So technically, you don't have to write radians. Radians, if you don't write it, is assumed that it's in radians. Notice how degree measures always have a degree symbol, and radians, you'll notice, sometimes don't have radians, but it is actually in radians. So you can leave the radian for now while we're practicing. I think that's a good practice. Let's do the second problem here. So same thing. So we're going to take 315 degrees, and then you want to multiply it by its equivalent radian over degrees. And you're putting degrees on the bottom so that it cancels out with the degrees on the top. So we're going to multiply this by pi radian over 180 degrees. Great. And pretty much the degrees cancel out, and we just need to simplify this. So, a lot of times you can't do this in your head. So let's figure out how to do this. So I know you can't take out a 2 from here. So let's try and take out a 5. I see that these are both divisible by 5. So let's do 315 divided by 5 is 63. So that leaves 63. And 180 divided by 5 leaves 36. So what we're left with is 63 over 36 pi radians. Notice everything that's left. 63 pi over 36 radians. Awesome. Chugging right along. Let's do this last one. The negative symbol might throw some people off, but it actually doesn't do anything different, okay? So you can have a positive or negative degree, positive or negative radian. You're going to handle it the same way. So we're going to take negative 260 degrees, and we're going to multiply it by pi radians over 180 degrees. Okay, and same thing here. So let's divide out a 10. Let's take out the degrees. 26 over 18, or negative 26 over 18. Let's take out a 2. So that leaves negative 13 over 9, and that's a prime number. So it will be negative 13 pi over 9 radians. Awesome. Okay, fun stuff. So let's convert the radian measure now to degrees. So it's going to be the exact same, except your unit, pi radians over 180 degrees, you're going to flip that. You're going to do the reciprocal of that so that the radians on the bottom cancel out with the radians on the top, and you're left with degrees. So pi over 9, I'm going to write radians here. You're going to multiply it by 180 degrees over pi radians, okay? You see, so the radians cancel out. The pi's can also cancel out. And see, only thing we're left with is 180 degrees over 9. And you can also simplify out a 9 from here. So we're going to divide out a 9, and then we are going to be left with 20 degrees. Okay, converting from radians to degrees. All right, let's try a few more. So this is 3 pi over 4 radians times, so we're going to multiply radians on the bottom. So pi radians over 180 degrees. Okay, so we're going to cancel out what we can. The radian units cancel out. The pi's cancel out. Okay. And so now it's just some simplifying. So let's see how many times 4 go into 180 here. So 180 divided by 4, we get 45. So this 4 goes to a 1, and this 180 goes to 45 degrees. And then so all we're left with is 3 times 45 degrees, which is 135 degrees. Converted from radians to degrees. Okay, let's try one more here. And so remember, when there's nothing listed, even though there's no pi, you might think it's not a radian. But whenever you don't have a degree symbol, you assume it's radian, if it's not forgotten that the degree symbol should be there. So if it's done on purpose that the degree is missing, it's a radian. So 12 times, even though there's no pi, remember, it's still radian. So you want to put radians on the bottom, pi radian over 180 degrees over pi radians, like that. So there's nothing, the pi can't cancel out, but remember this was 12 radians, so the radians can cancel out, okay? And this is 12 times 180 degrees divided by pi. So 12 times 180 is 2,160 divided by pi degrees. And there you go. See you in the next one.